Hey, John Sonmez from SimpleProgrammer.com. So I've got another question here. This question is from Alan, and Alan asks a question that is pretty common, I think. This is something that a lot of beginning programmers wonder about, and so hopefully I can alleviate some of your fears if you're just starting out in the field, or maybe if you felt a little inadequate and you're maybe perhaps midway into your career. So Alan says, "Hi John, I've just accepted a job as a junior Java developer at a company which outsources its staff. I only recently finished my computer science degree and have very little experience, personal or otherwise. In fact, no experience commercially. I've been working a few years already, but not in software dev. Anyway, I start this new job on Monday, and after meeting with the team lead for the project, I'm feeling like I may be way out of my depth. He was mentioning technologies that I've never heard of. I never gave any false information regarding my knowledge. I've heard from friends that most of what a developer learns happens on the job and when it's required. I was just wondering, that's funny, that statement, I was just thinking, it parallels wedding night. Like, anyway, I was just wondering if you have any advice regarding my situation and how I should handle things if I'm backed in a corner with no idea what I'm doing. Thanks a million. So, Alan, this is common. Don't worry. Don't worry, young man. You'll know what to do when you and the lady are in your honeymoon suite. It's kind of the same thing, right? So, as you know, for most people starting out, most developers starting out, in fact, I mean, every single time that I took a new job as a software developer, from kind of my first one to, I'd say maybe until I was really senior, right? Until maybe at least 10 years or so into my career, I was terrified, thought that I didn't know enough, that I didn't have the knowledge, right? And that there was all this new stuff and I was going to look like a fraud. And it was most of the time, I actually found out that one, I knew more than I thought I did, and two, I wasn't expected to know all that stuff. I could learn it so easily on the job. So that's the thing is, don't worry. This sounds very common, right? You're going to be fine. It's better that you feel this way rather than being overconfident and arrogant about things that you don't know, right? Because every company that you work for, there's how many technologies are there, right? How many different frameworks and tools, and you can't know it all. You can't. And so it's not conceivable. No one expects you to, right? But if you've passed the interview, if you've gotten this job, it's because some people think that you have enough base skills to do the job and that you will learn what you need to know as you go. And you will. Trust me, you will. You're fine. Just don't worry about it. Have some confidence in yourself to be able to do that. One thing I would say though is don't be afraid to ask questions. Right now, this is a long-term play. Right I'm not going to say sometimes you're in a bad work environment, and when you ask questions, people think that you must not know what you're doing, and so it could be bad. But in the long term, it will benefit you, right? So in the short term, you might look bad. Now, not everywhere, right? Good developers, good companies realize that you have to ask questions. That they want someone who asks questions when they don't know, not someone who nods their head and pretends like, yeah, I know. Yep. Oh yeah, I've worked with that. Sure. Yep. Right. That's no good. Right. Just ask questions when you don't know something, and whenever you don't know something, just stop. Be the person who stops and says, "Wait a minute, hold on. I don't quite understand this. What is this?" But go and research things on your own that you can. Bring your notebook, take some notes, right, and say, "Oh, okay, let me research this further." But when you need to know the answer to a thing in order to understand the next thing that's being told to you, ask the question and then mark it down and say, "Let me do a little bit more research about this thing." That's the best way to go. In the long run, you're going to benefit using that approach, and you're going to become a lot more knowledgeable than someone who just pretends like they know the answers, right? And a lot of people pretend like they know the answers. So you're not the only one. It's pretty common. Don't worry. Don't sweat it. Just just learn. Just learn. Don't be afraid. And and you'll just be fine. All right. Well, hopefully that helps you, Alan. Thanks for asking this question. This is a question that a lot of people are afraid to ask, but I personally have experienced this many times myself. So, in fact, even as I just jump into new ventures as an entrepreneur, I experienced this exact problem. You know, obviously I don't have a boss that I'm reporting to, but I'm like, I don't know how to do this, right? But then I figured it out. So, all right, take care. If you have a question, just email me at john@simpleprogrammer.com. If you like the video, you know, give me a thumbs up here, and don't forget to subscribe. Take care.